But compared to the traditional costing, you can see that in traditional costing we cover only two drivers, machine hours and or labor hour, whichever is higher. Alright, so activity-based costing is providing more accurate results comparison to the traditional costing. Alright, so of course activity-based costing is more accurate, so it doesn't mean that we always apply activity-based costing. As I said in the beginning of the lecture, that it depends upon the nature of company. If your company is a small company, in small company you have a less activities involved or less activities going on to produce product. Alright, you have one or few activities. Alright, so in that case you will apply traditional costing. But if your company is a large, you have various activities. Alright, in that case you will apply activity-based costing. Alright, for small company, activity-based costing may not be affordable, alright, because of the time. Alright, so accountant takes much time to get the results through the activity-based costing. It's a time-consuming process, complicated matter comparing to the traditional costing. And maybe traditional small company, they're not going to be really happy in order to spend that much money only just accounting activities of the company. Alright, so that's why big companies apply activity-based costing and some small companies apply traditional costing, as small company has a less activities compared to the large companies. Alright, so that's all about the activity-based costing. Alright, now we move on to the last learning outcome, which is about over and under apply. And remember, in your exams, I'm going to ask you questions related to traditional costing and activity-based costing. You practice the activity that I sent you on your email. Now, learning outcome 7, which is under or over apply. So what is under and over apply? As you looked at in your learning outcome 6, in learning outcome 6 we are getting the results which is related to factory overheads. Alright, and you know that that result is a predetermined, estimated, budgeted. Alright, so we plan how much money we gonna spend here. So we plan means we use that number to complete the cost. Alright, so it means, remember learning outcome 4, when I explained about learning outcome 4, I drew the various T accounts, and I also said that when we are calculating the total factory overhead in working process, we do not write as a total factory overhead. We use the word applied. Alright? We use the word applied. Why applied? Because that number is estimated or budgeted. Alright, so we apply that number to complete the total cost. Alright, we apply that factory overhead. We apply factory overhead in order to complete the total cost. We have to estimate the total cost to determine the price of the product, to estimate the profit as well. Alright, so that's why when we prepare our work in process, alright, in our working process we have applied factory overheads. So whatever overhead we estimated, like this in my previous example, I used the word, I calculated $530. So $530 is an applied factory overhead. Alright? So this number is the applied number. And of course, at the end of the year, when I calculate my actual numbers, because this number is a plan, estimated, at the end of the year, I got the actual factory overhead cost. Alright, so at the end of the year, I got actual number. Alright? And I use applied number. Alright? I use applied number. So I have two types of number here. So which number will you using? So we will calculate over or under applied. So what does it mean? When I apply factory overhead, at that time for example, I estimated my cost will be $10 applied. Alright? I thought my cost will be $10. Alright? At the end of the year, for example, I got $7, which is my actual overhead. So the idea is that applied overhead is more than actual overhead. If applied overhead is more than actual overhead, then your overhead is over applied by $3. Actual is 7, but you use 10, so you apply much. All right. For example, you are applying $10, and at the end of the year, you came to know that your actual factory overhead is the 15, not 10. Let's say actual. All right. So what does it mean? You were planning that you will spend 10, but actually you are spending 15. So $5 is under applied. All right. $5 is the under applied. All right. That is your under applied. All right. That is your over applied. All right. So, what will be the accounting treatment for this one? Right? Under and over applied. If you have a under applied, if you have a under applied, you will add more because you use $10, right? For example, here you use $10 to prepare your working process and cost of goods sold, so on. So, but actually is 5. So what you have to do, you have to increase your factory overhead by $5. So you will, in under applied case, you will add the balance, which is $5. All right, add the balance to your factory overhead. Whatever factory overhead, whatever number you use it, whatever means 10, you use 10. So plus 5, so you add 5 if your overhead is under applied. If your overhead is over applied, all right, then you will minus. You will minus your overhead by 3. All right, so you will increase. All right, here you will decrease. You will increase your overhead, all right, and you will decrease your overhead. You will do either this and this. Of course, you're not going to do both. Probably you're going to have this situation or this situation. There are very less circumstances when your applied and actual is similar, but it depends. All right, if they are not similar, either you're going to be in this situation or that situation, not both. In this situation, you will increase by the balance, which is 5, all right, or you decrease by the balance, which is 3 here. All right. So now the question is where you will increase or decrease, because you are preparing various key accounts: direct material, direct labor, factory overhead, working process, finished goods, cost of goods sold, so on. So where you gonna fix these issues? So here you have two options, right? Option 1 is So now the question is where to fix. Alright, where are you going to fix? So you're going to have two situations here, two options you have. Alright, first one is either you increase or decrease your cost of goods sold. Alright, because factory overhead is a part of cost of goods sold. Before you use applied, because you use applied in your overhead account, applied in working process, applied in your finished goods, and applied in cost of goods sold, and you use that applied factory overhead to calculate your total cost. Alright, so now you have to fix it. So you can fix either in your cost of goods sold, increase or decrease, depends upon under and apply. Or second option is you can fix your working process and finished goods. And of course, if you fix your working process and finished good, obviously your cost of goods sold will be changed. Alright, so you have two options. You can change your cost of goods sold. You don't need to change your working process, finished goods. You just change your cost of goods sold. Right, working process, finished good, cost of goods sold. You change your cost of goods sold. Or you change your working process and finished goods. If you change your working process and finished good, obviously your cost of goods sold going to be changed too. Alright, so either option 1, right, or option 2. It's up to you. Whatever options you like to, you can pick up. Alright, but if you choose option 1, you don't have to fix in two accounts. You just fix in your cost of goods sold number. Alright. Or if you want to do it in the particular process, then you can fix in your working process and finished goods. Alright, so that's all about your learning outcome 7. And keep in your mind, learning outcome 7, this point I will attach with your learning outcome 6. So means when I will give you questions which is belongs to your learning outcome 6. So in your final exam, when I'll give you question of traditional and activity based costing, I will also give you the actual factory overhead allocation cost. Alright, so what you have to do, of course you will calculate your applied overhead, is overhead using traditional and activity based costing, and then you're going to compare with your actual number, and then you have to tell me, is it over applied or under applied? If this is the over applied or under applied, then you have to tell me what will be the accounting treatment for this over and under applied. Alright, so that's all about your learning outcome 7. Alright, so I quickly focus more on the learning outcome 5, 6 and 7. Learning outcome 5 is about the allocation of service cost to the production department. 3 methods: direct distribution, step down, algebraic. Alright, and learning outcome 6 is about the overhead allocation, total overhead allocation. 2 methods: traditional and ABC. Right, ABC, of course, you have to keep it in mind. You have to find out cost pool and cost driver. All right, and then you have depends 2, 3, 4 different predetermined overhead rates. But in your traditional costing, you're going to have only one overhead rate. All right, so that's all about your topic 4, which is accounting for overheads. So if you have any questions regarding this one, please send me an email. Right. So I'll see you in next class. Thank you.